So most Polymarket traders are losing money, and for the few that are profitable, including myself, we're not trading directly on Polymarket's interface. We're using pro trading tools that ultimately you would have to use third-party sites for. I'll be giving you access and showing you the top 5 that I've personally used, and also telling you my favorite right at the end of this video. The first terminal in this video is Predictefy. Now, you might have seen these guys on Twitter. They're quite big in terms of like how many people are actually using these guys, and there's a quite good reason for it. These guys truly aggregate prediction markets, unlike some of the other examples I'll be going through in this video. You might have seen one of my previous videos where I went through different aggregator tools, and you probably would have known about Predictefy just from that alone. These guys are in beta, so you will probably come across a few bugs here and there, but yeah, you can just go over to their Telegram and the team is pretty quick on fixing them. Now, if you go over to the aggregator tool, it is ultimately one of the standout features, as there's not anyone else, from my understanding, that is offering this sort of data and cross-matched markets. Now, for example, if you go ahead and click on the 2026 FIFA World Cup market, this ultimately will give you straight away a good understanding on how you're going to be able to be making money. Now, this ultimately allows you to view different prediction markets and the different prices that you can see in different prediction markets. Now, a lot of prediction markets, they're quite fragmented and the prices are very inconsistent, right? And ultimately, what you're trading when you're using the aggregation tool on Predictefy is ultimately a plus EV arbitrage. You're basically trading the difference in prices, and it's probably the easiest money you can make right now. And I'm not sure how long this will be around for, as I've got a strong feeling that eventually prediction markets will start being very consistent in pricing, and there'll be market makers and institutions balancing the books here. But at the time of recording in April 2026, this opportunity is well and truly alive. So you can actually go ahead and compare prices, and it's quite insane, right? You can see here, for example, for Spain here, opinion is listed at 16 cents. And the price is actually currently dipping to 13 cents. You can go ahead and trade on opinion directly on the terminal. The price has jumped up now to 16 cents. But again, that gives you a good idea ultimately on how you can make money using this terminal. Going over to Discovery tools, I'm going to go back at home. You can actually go ahead on top movers. Now, I'm actually going to go ahead to the trade here and go to top movers. And again, it's an incredible feature just because there's not many trading terminals that are offering and showing you exactly what the top movers are across different markets here. For example, you can see here for Boston to win here has gone up by 6,000%. We're going to go ahead and check this market out. But one thing you'd really have to do when using this platform is be quite active. As you can see, if you were paying attention during the first jump here in the top movers, you could have well and truly have entered in this market and ultimately have made a good buck. But again, these guys have got Kalshi, Polymarket, Opinion, Predict.fun, Limitless, Gemini, which I didn't even know had a prediction market, and Myriad. So they're probably the most stacked prediction market tool in this video. Now, the second tool that I'll be showing you, again, some of you guys might know about these guys if they decide to load. There you go. It's TradeFox. Now, TradeFox has, again, these guys have been around for a while. I started using TradeFox actually before Predictefy. I ended up switching to Predictefy just because they had more markets. But these guys, for when it comes to their interface, if you guys have been trading crypto, you'd probably know about Hyperliquid. It really gives you the Hyperliquid feel for trading prediction markets. They did a very good job on the UI. But other than that, when it comes to the aggregation tool, it is extremely basic. As you can see, they got only Polymarket and Kalshi listed. And yeah, it's not exactly the most advanced, right? And it's not even 100% matched. But one thing I do like is the Lightning page. It is solid, to say the least. They've got a solid Lightning page where ultimately you can enter your buy size and directly trade, which I thought was pretty cool. But other than that, I've stopped using these guys, but some of you guys might actually like the interface and might want to use TradeFox. Next up on the list, if you are a Polymarket OG, that you've been trading, prediction markets quite deeply, you might recognize Stand. Now, Stand.trade have been around now for a while, and definitely one of the leading names for when it comes to pro trading tools. But again, these guys, I would say they're slightly more beginner friendly just for when it comes to their interface and just what they actually provide. They got some cool features like their calendar and their pulse as well. I think their pulse, a lot of you guys might like, where you get that sort of axiom feel, right, for trading Polymarket. But again, it is probably not my go-to, just because there's better options in the market. But I really like some of the features they got, which like rewards, right? You can ultimately track your rewards. If you're farming on Polymarket, it's definitely a good way to go about it. And in the copy trading, I will make a separate video for the top copy trading tools, but by far it is nowhere near as good for copy trading as some of the tools that I will show you. But it's definitely a solid trading tool, and which is also somewhat beginner friendly. The interface is quite beginner friendly. Now, next up on the list, we've got Fireplace. These guys, again, similar to Predictefy, are fairly new. And some of these new trading terminals like Predictefy, like Fireplace, have been probably the best ones in the market for when it comes to innovations. They've got things like they're expiring soon. I mean, this is not that special. I don't know why I mentioned it. Hot movers is quite cool. You can go down and track the markets down to the 30 minutes and see what's moving, similar to the other prediction market terminals I've shown you. But again, when it comes to the interface, it really comes down to your choice. Which interface do you prefer? Is there something more advanced like TradeFox, or something more simple and beginner friendly like Stand and Fireplace? Now, last on my list, we've actually got a platform called Chance. Now, once this decides to load, you'll have an idea on why this is on my list. It's definitely not on the list for the interface, as it's quite buggy, which is, I mean, they're in beta, so it makes sense. However, the main reason I've included them is just because of popularity for when it comes to the interface. These guys have done a good job to be beginner friendly, while also offering some pro features, right? But again, like the smart money, I think is cool. It just shows you ultimately all the smart money that's coming in. But I think one thing they could do better is showing you which traders are buying and some additional data. Right now, it just feels like the terminal is quite packed, but it's quite packed on like unnecessary stuff. So the trading interface here, for example, is like, it's quite messy. I'm not the biggest fan of it. And when you're trading, you just want to be trading, in a much more sophisticated way. But this has made it to my list, so again, it's worth checking out. I personally haven't traded on it, but I've heard good things about it. That brings me at the end of this video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. It's been your quantitative here. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.